father, pater.
Pat.
Mater.
Matrem severam habes.
Matrem severam habes. You have. Strict. Oh, don't hit the enter till you're ready.
Ille est benignus.
Ille est benignus. He is kind of good nature. Kind. Benignus. That probably, here's my suspicion. So we get the word benign from there with a silent G. B-E-N-I-G-N. Benignus. Us for the masculine singular. Is the traditional order, masculine, feminine, neuter. It's an adjective, so it's going to agree with the noun, so it takes all three genders. It marks them in these three ways. That's one case and one number. These are all the nominative, so subject case, singular, one entity. Benignus, meaning kind, and it looks like it comes from bene, well, and this gna is a form of the root of being born, which becomes gen. Well, it was originally gen. Gn is one shape of that. The root in Indo-European, gen, palatal, I think, and then a laryngeal at the end, so cluster final, however you regard it. The laryngeals, the H, could be either a consonant or a vowel. Bene, so well born, basically, was the meaning I suspect there. Let's look it up. There's this great resource, Wiktionary, where you can get lots of this information just for free, real easily. Benignus, and we want the etymology, the history of the structure of this word. Bene, well, and genos, origin, having a good origin, basically. So you could regard that as a possessive compound. Bene genos, which would give also genus, if it's that same form. Well plus origin doesn't quite work. Benignus. So the vowel gen of the root, just syncopated, we call it. Just deleted in the middle of a word. Benignus would be the sound, meaning genos origin, it says. So the star means it's not directly attested either in that form or in that meaning. It's a reconstruction in this case. But that's not what we're here for. Well, I find it really interesting to know where these words come from. A lot of things that we think are just a single thing often turn out to be compounds, combinations of two things that we know as words elsewhere. The meaning is, he is kind. Benignus.
Illa quoque est mater.
By the way, the gen root in this Latin word, benignus, is the same root that we have in our word kind. We say they're cognate. English kind. Also goes back to this gen root. So we use all caps for the word itself. Illa quoque est mater. She, quoque means like also. She is a mother to.
Ille me servat, et ego illum servo.
Ille me servat, et ego illum servo. Saves, rather, we should say, like from danger, from trouble.
Servat.
Ille me, he says me, same spelling as our word, and I, ego, illum, so that's the object form, ending in um.
Illum. Ille.
Form of the same word as this one.
Ille.
I save him. Servo, the O suffix shows subject I am doing it.
Stephanus patrem servat.
Stephanus, name, nominative singular, patrem, servat, subject, object, verb.
Stephanus patrem servat.
So this us for the masculine singular, is the part of the class we call thematic. That means basically the stem ended in an e or an o in alternation. So final e alternating with o. The term for that in this language family is thematic. It has a thing put there. While patrem, instead of for the final, m tells us that the consonant is, the stem rather, ends in a consonant. This r is where the stem, where the meaning is, resides. The meaning father, saves the father. He is kind, ille est benignus. You have freedom of word order. The verb could also go at the end. You have a strict mother. We're gonna put the object first. The mother, strict. Here we can have the noun first. You don't have to. Matrem severam habes. So matrem, ending in m. Let me zoom in a bit. In Latin noun classes, we've got on the one hand matrem, where the segmentation is m is the suffix, mother, object form, and severam. It's grammatically the very same category. It's in a phrase with it. You have a strict mother. But instead of an M, we have an M. And I would suggest segmenting them this way. The A is the last sound on the noun stem itself. So M is probably basic, and after vowel, drop that second. Well, in a sequence of vowels like that, just get rid of the later one. Severam is strict. Stricty. And these are both in the form class that we call accusative singular. So accusative is basically the direct object of a verb, where we use him, her, it in English.
Matrem severam habes.
Object case. Case just means a form class of a noun. It carries grammatical information.
Matrem severam habes.
Accusative here too is the same one. Strict mother, you have. We put subject verb first in English. Strict mother. And we need an article here. Latin doesn't use them as much. The word is what I mean. English has no counterpart there. Original. So welcome back to Lango Institute. I'm your VerbAlly, here to teach you some Latin today. Had Latin in school for a number of 5 or 6 years or so, thereabouts. Many years ago, decades ago. So I'm using Duolingo really to review. So far I've just seen one verb tense in Latin. I hope they add, like I always say, I hope they add to everything. Find Duolingo a really effective tool. And let me draw your attention to Lango's website, especially our blog and our podcast. Might be of interest if you're new here, even if you're not new and haven't checked them out yet. Okay, yeah, I'll have that up for a bit. So, doing Latin today, that's the ancestral speech community, ancestral to what we now know as French, Italian, Spanish, Romanian, lots and lots of dialects. Those are I mentioned Spanish, Portuguese, dozens of others really that one could name, that all go back to the speech of the Roman Empire, basically, Latin. We have lots and lots of writings, so we know a lot about the structure, the grammar and the vocabulary and the culture of the Romans. Which one is his husband? Maritus.
Maritus.
Yeah, that'd be right. Wife. Uxor. So that's what we have from that. Uxorus.
Pater senilis non est severus.
Old man. The old father, aged, senile, is not strict. So we saw severam. The stem is the same there. That's where we say the meaning resides there, and the us or and so on, those are grammatical endings that carry meanings, that carry markings for certain categories. Pater senilis. No. So if you know some Spanish or French or any of the other languages I briefly mentioned, you'll recognize a lot of, not just the words themselves, but their structures, I think.
Pater senilis non est severus.
Here, senilis as an adjective modifying the father is not strict. So non was the basic negator word right before your verb. This is not strict. Us, masculine singular. Let's mention again, thematic. It's going to have o, which becomes in the masculine of Latin. So these are reconstructed also. This suffix alternation, or just whatever sound alternation, became us, in the Latin thematic class, female, feminine rather. There's other ways that words can mark their gender category, or just other inflection patterns. And as I'm showing it, really trying to have my cake and eat it too, as we say, trying to slice it both ways. I think the best analysis keeps the vowel at the end of severa, and then the suffix itself, showing accusative, is just m in this second case, whereas it's two segments in the one on mother. We call this allomorphy. A single thing underlyingly shows up in more than one form. Allomorphy, also possessive compound, having different shapes, having different forms. So the y suffix one for the phenomenon itself, and we talk about an allomorph and so on.
Marcus familiaris benignus est.
Okay, so we've got three masculine singulars in a row. We have a new noun class, just a form class, familiaris. I would segment like this. This is non-thematic. Yari, the last sound in the stem. This is a consonant stem, because it's going to be M in the accusative. Familiarem. So a consonant final with the nominative singular, the subject case, in is, which is, is the same S as in us. Nominative singular. So the question is, how do we bracket this? Like, what belongs together in a phrase? Our predicate, the comment part of the sentence, benignus est, is kind. Someone is kind. The relative, also an adjective originally. My best guess is Marcus is on its own a noun phrase, is a kind relative, taking familiaris as the head noun, benignus as an adjective. Or we could use the. Latin doesn't distinguish those.
Ili sunt severi.
Ili, masculine plural. They, sunt, are strict.
Ille pater familias est benignus.
Great compound word that English has borrowed, pater familias, where we see an old genitive singular, familia, with our meaning of family, although I think the word derives from a term for slave, which is familias. So that would be a long vowel there. I'll use the double dot for length. Familias, that's the old Latin, older. And it survives in a compound like that because it's a special case. You can get like insects trapped in amber. You can preserve older morphology there. Old Latin, genitive, singular, feminine. Where classical Latin has now an IE ending, spelled AE. He is, he, that. Okay, here the same bracketing question.
Est.
Ille can be a noun phrase on its own, meaning they, or it can mean that one occurring with a noun. So that head of the house, we'll say, yeah. Head of the house, take that as a phrase. With ille just as the determiner. Est benignus is kind. But there's other ways you could construe that sentence. The paterfamilias has a mother. Habet, no, 3. Matrem habet. The object. me get the chat open. That doesn't look good. Alright. They are strict. We're going to want just what we call masculine plural. It's kind of a bad name for it because it just means not specifically all feminine in this case, but showing that it's animate. They are strict. Illi sunt is the form are. Severi is going to agree grammatically with that one. And they belong to the same inflection class, so it's the same form of nominative plural marking. The wife has uxor is the wife, she's the subject, nominative case. An aged husband is going to be maritum, accusative, and he's old, aged, seni. That's the stem, senil, and then the suffix is m, senilem. She has, verb last, habit. So your subject is going to be nominative. Here's your two-word object phrase, accusative. They agree. Same number, same case, same gender. So the agreement with loss of one of the three genders, the Romance languages, the ones we know today, they have a two-gender system, which we call masculine feminine. There's no distinct neuter. But Latin had a well-established three-case system.
Quot sepulchra sunt?
Speaking of neuter, this one, sepulchra, the ending tells us it's plural because the singular would be an and a. These are, sepulchrum is a grave. That's nominative singular. If it ends in a instead, that's nominative or accusative plural. So that we have in English too, continuum with the plural continua. What's more common? Nothing really springs to mind. Sepulchra, and that makes sense because quot means how many.
Quote.
More than one. How many graves, and then sunt is the copula, but it also has this existential use where we will say are there in English.
Pater eorum est severus.
So the eorum might make you think of accusative, but it's a genitive, it's a possessive form. There, plural possessor, father, that's the subject. Est severus is strict.
Quotidie mater sacrificat.
Quotidie, every day. Mater is nominative. She's the doer, mother. And then no object here, just the verb on its own. We call that intransitive. She sacrifices, which is a Latin compound word with the root of making and sacred. Making something sacred is sacrificing.
Quotidie pater familiaris servac.
Okay, pater familiaris servac. It's got to be ace. That's accusative plural.
Vir pius sacrificat.
We have the word pious. It's a little too easy. Should we say dutiful? Yeah. Vir is man. He sacrifices. A dutiful man is number two there. His father sacrifices daily. Pater eius quotidie sacrificat. A dutiful man sacrifices. So a good word order for this, noun followed by adjective, vir pius. And then we have the English derivative of this one, sacrificat. Let's talk about the structure of that too. Here, this type of verb, very, very common, the most frequent one, largest class, and is where the stem ends in a, and the suffix showing inflection, which in this case is third singular, present. Those meanings expressed together in a single form. Sacrifica. Yeah, the stem ends in a vowel, unlike, not all verbs do, just like that severa adjective. And that's really more than one piece too. That's a closer union there. Alright, Vir pius sacrificat. How many graves? We saw quot. Think of our word quotient as a derivative of this. Quot means how many. Graves are there. Sepulchra, because it's got to be plural, and this is a neuter noun. Are there, we'll just put sunt, they are. Exist. So maybe let's spend some time in the daughter languages. We'll make this a Latin and her daughters lesson. Let's go to French next. Gotta remember to tweet when I tweet. And let's view that. Special guest. French. It's delayed there. Okay. Activities. Next one.
Nous mangeons une orange.
Nous, oui, mangeons, we eat, une orange, feminine noun, and orange, the fruit.
Nous habitons en Angleterre.
Nous habitons en Angleterre. We reside, we live in England. So the on ending is derived from Latin, so let's mark what we're talking about here. The French, one plural, first person plural, so we, subject, as in habitons. The suffix I'm talking about now goes back to the Latin ending habita mus. So this mus, this intervening vowel, got lost. The M and S came together. N and S are shared in the same spot there in the mouth. Call it assimilation. Just to give you a sense of one sequence of changes to languages stuff. We can, in French, sometimes set really, I can at least set up really solid. I feel not always. A lot of French derivation is very obscure to me, especially regarding the vowels. It's very, very interesting, fascinating stuff.
Nous mangeons une orange.
So let's talk about the spelling here. The U sound is always two letters, OU, silent S. In this case, silent, because the next word has a consonant. Mangeons. So that would be the stem, mange. Ending on agrees with its subject. In French, you have to have the subject expressed, and in spoken French, I think, always with a pronoun. And your ending is gonna, we say, agree with it. If you have a different ending there, it's gonna just sound odd, broken.
Nous mangeons une orange.
Une orange is the object, the thing eaten, an orange.
Nous voulons un taxi.
Nous voulons, that same vowel, un taxi, and that verb is we want a taxi.
Nous avons un cheval.
Avoir is the verb have, un cheval, a horse. Nous habitons en Paris, et vous? Nous habitons à Bordeaux. Yeah, if you want to say something relevant, tell where you live and not that you have a car. Let me translate everything that we see, though, for those of you who are new to it. Otherwise, what's the point? We have a dog. We have the same word order in French. We, nous. We have, avons, a dog. Meaning one, indefinite, un, just like the number one, and dog, chien, spelled like that. These final ends, the ends coming after a vowel, color those vowels. Avons, un, chien. And they are no longer heard as a n, which we sometimes put at the end of a word in English. we have, yeah, nasalized vowels. We want a horse. Nous voulons is the form. Un cheval. So yeah, let's take a quick sort of whirlwind tour. Just do one little stretch of each of the daughter languages. Maybe step back to Latin from time to time. Let's do Italian. There we go.
Quali uomini leggono il giornale?
Quali uomini leggono il giornale? Which men, uomini, leggono, read the newspaper?
Quanta acqua bevi?
Quanta acqua bevi? How much water? Bevi, you drink. Do you drink?
Perché non mangi frutta?
Perché non mangi frutta? Perché why? Non mangi, do you not eat frutta? Just put indefinite singular, put mass noun here. Fruit.
Perché no?
Perché, I think it has an accent. Perché no, sounds like a question. Why not?
Quanto pane mangi?
Quanto pane mangi? Quanto and pane are in singular. We'll translate how much. Pane, bread. Mangi, do you eat?
Quanti ragazzi mangiano pesce?
Quanti ragazzi mangiano pesce? Quanti, plural of that same one we just saw. Quanto, quanti. How many ragazzi, boys, or it could mean children, mangiano, eat. How many boys eat pesce, fish?
Quanti caffè bevi?
How many coffees do you drink? Quanti caffè bevi? Who reads? Who's going to be chi? Reads legge. Qui sounds just like the French cognate, the related word, corresponding one for who. It's all spelled differently, Q-U-I. And the Spanish one, quien. They're all related words. The same word, essentially. How many girls eat? Okay, it's going to be quante, because it's feminine plural. So we mentioned the Latin. Okay, we a different ending spelled the same. There's an I ending of Latin that is feminine. Let's say nominative, plural, feminine. And that one became quite regularly and simply in Italian just quante. And then ragazze, same class of noun. Ragazze. And then they eat is plural, mangiano. That's Italian. So let's go back. So we don't lose the flavor of that. Like I say, Latin is the ancestral stage of each of these that we're seeing here. So checkpoint. The brother studies. Brother is frater. Student with that T suffix. The structure here rather. Student. Let's put it with another verb. Yeah, sacrificat we saw earlier. And studate is actually how it is. A long A, part of the stem, and the suffix is just a T, also third singular, present. Those two meanings and others actually, indicative and so on. Just expressed by a single suffix. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Maritus quotidie sacrificat.
Maritus quotidie. The husband sacrificat sacrifices quotidie every day. Your daughters and your brothers are sleeping. Dormiunt meae fili et pueri tui.
Magistra Corinna litteras latinas legit.
Magistra Corinna, the shared ending, tells me it's a single person, single entity. The teacher Corinna. Legit reads Litteras Latinas. We will say Latin literature. It's a plural, accusative plural word form. Literature. Corinna ubi sunt duo fratres tui, your two brothers, masculine form. Annulum, annulus.
Matrem severam habes.
So you have a strict mother. The paterfamilias has a mother. Paterfamilias. Mother, matrem, object, habet. Habet.
Filii mei non dormiunt.
Filii mei non dormiunt. My sons do not sleep. No, I do not live in Italy. No. Minime, for no. I do not live in Italy. We'll put that first. In Italia, habito, verb last, is a nice neutral way to order the sentence. So let's just go to the bottom of the list. Do the next Romance language we see. Romanian. It was for many centuries out of direct contact with other Romance languages, being on the eastern side of Europe. So, peanut.
Căpșună.
Căpșună, strawberry.
Căpșună.
Good word.
Ananas.
Ananas. Pineapple.
Arahidă.
Arahidă. That's fascinating. Okay, let me get my Romanian keyboard. And the form is arahidă. Arahid. Okay, A equals, yeah. Good. And let's zoom in a bit. Arahidă. See where that comes from. Might be helpful to remember and recognize this word. French arachide. Oh, not aware of this. From ancient Greek, arachidna. Arakos. Oh, that's interesting. Which is groundnut peanut goober. Arachidna. Beautiful. Round nut. I should do Greek too again soon. They're all so wonderful. All these languages. So, do egg O.
O.
Latin ovum.
Zmeură. Zmeură.
Ananas.
Ananas. Căpșună. Arahidă.
Arahidă.
Ananas.
Ananas. Maybe accenting the last. Căpșună.
Arahidă. Ananas. Căpșună.
Căpșună.
Prună.
Probably plum or prune.
Prună.
Which are originally the same word, the same source. We have a pear and a pineapple. Noi avem. We have. So we were talking about habemos. What did we have in French? Habitons. Avem. So in Romanian language, we've got noi avem. And this goes back to that same mus ending. Habemus of Latin. Let's mark the length here too. Habitamus. So, pair, opar. Yeah. Opar. And that cup-shaped one is a like a schwa sound. And is she with this modified s. Ananas. O ananas. If it's feminine, un is masculine. Ananas. The woman eats a yogurt with fruit. Woman, rather, femeia, with the final letter A. Mănâncă. Mănânc. Femeia eats is mănâncă, with those different modified n, and c, and yogurt, okay, with a J. Iaurtul. No, un yaurt, because it's indefinite. Yaurt. With would be she also. Cool. Ooh, how cool. Fruit. Fruct, that's the English word. Fructe. Cool. That was a good guess. Cool fructe with fruit. Cool from Latin cum. Fructe. With. Okay, so back to Latin, I think. Vino. Red ruber. So what's related? I don't know if ruby is related. Could be. Rubric is derived from this Latin word.
Panem habes.
Habes, to the verb first, tells me you have, in a single word form, those meanings together. Panem, bread, object. And instead of panem here, with an is suffix, that's the basic nominative form where you'd find it in the dictionary.
Ubi est panis? Velisne vinum?
Velisne vinum. Do you want? Why? And this ne is not really part of the word. It just goes on the probably the first word in a question, in a yes/no question sentence. Do you want wine? And maybe it's always the verb that gets fronted there. Probably. Do you want wine? So generally the verb will come last in that clause. But in a yes/no, you move the verb up to the front and then put this ne right with it there, spelled as a single form.
Liber est in foro.
A book is in the forum.
Velisne vinum rubrum?
Ne, that's it. Vinum rubrum. Lovely sounding. Do you want red wine?
Vinum rubrum velim.
Would like. This is, I think, a subjunctive form. It's more hypothetical. Rubrum. Red wine, I would like. I would like wine and bread. Vinum et panem velim. All ending in M there.
Ubi est panis?
Readings ubi, where est panis is the bread. Next Romance language. Spanish. The one with the most speakers, the big one, the big daughter. The tips I want, just the data, please, just the facts, man. The student, el estudiante.
El estudiante.
So for the form of that one, es español, Estudiante. We can trace Spanish back pretty easily to Latin directly. Estudiante comes from studio. This is originally it was studere with the final letter E. Studia, and then a participle in the accusative form. Studiantem is what the form reflects. El is from this pronoun or determiner illum, and that's accusative singular both times. Yeah, illum studiantem. If this studiant, that didn't exist as a word. That's just what the form would reflect. It's not a Latin word anyway. What is the question? La pregunta.
La pregunta.
Un estudiante.
Estudiante. The un word there tells us masculine, male student. Un estudiante.
Un examen difícil.
Difícil. The stress marked, the accent rather. Un examen difícil. A difficult exam.
Un problema interesante. Un problema interesante.
Problema interesante. Masculine singular. Despite what it looks like, we usually have an o on those words, but these are both exceptions. Problema is a Greek word that happened to end in a, but it's a masculine Spanish noun, and interesante was an old Latin consonant stem where the form does not distinguish masculine and feminine. Though I would still say the adjective is agreeing with it. It just happens to be the same form. Interesting. We'll put the adjective first. Problem.
Una pregunta difícil.
Una pregunta, a question, which is difícil. Accented. Difícil. This one doesn't change its form either, but pregunta is feminine, as this word una also indicates.
Yo necesito escribir en español.
Necesito, the I form. Escribir, infinitive, en español. I need to write in Spanish. I need, necesito. We can drop the yo. Necesito to study, estudiar. I need to read a book. Necesito leer un libro. Taste of Spanish. Let's go back to Latin. Top billing today. Cookie, crustulum. This is a neuter one.
Hoc crustulum velim.
First two words together. This cookie I would like. Velisne, would you like? Yes or no? Hoc crustulum, that's the neuter form. Hic masculine, haec feminine. This word doesn't inflect like other three gender words. It's kind of its own thing.
Velisne olivas.
Velisne, yes, no, would you like? Olivas, olives.
Hai olivae Romae sunt.
Hai olivae, feminine plural. These olives, Romae, of Rome. Or we could say in Rome, or pertaining to Rome.
Romae.
Oops. Are in Rome. It's an odd sentence.
Quanti crustula constant?
Interesting. This constant means to stand firm. That's where we get our word cost. So this is a dative form. At how much do cookies stand firm was the root meaning of this phrase. And it became how much do cookies, plural, crustula, cost. These are olives. Hai sunt olivae.
Quanti olivae et crustula constant?
T o olivae et crustula constant. At how much do olives and cookies stand firm? Meaning, how much do they cost? I would like olives. We'll put the object first. Olivas. Plural. Accusative. I would like is willim. How much do olives and cookies cost? Quanti. Like I said, a dative singular form. At how much? Quanti. Quanto would be dative. Quanti. So maybe it's not quite as I was just explaining. So our subject here, olivai et crustula, those are both nominative plural, just different classes, different genders. Constant, verb is plural. Conjoined subject. Each of which was also plural. So I want to make sure to do all the Romance languages, but then I think let's visit Celtic too. Portuguese, there's one. Also a big one, spoken in Portugal and Brazil, a few other places. Here the Brazilian dialect is what we're hearing. Hearing and seeing, I suppose. Her horse eats bread. So, seu cavalo. O seu cavalo. Not paga though. O cavalo dela. You put the possessive marker after. Come, eats, pão.
O jornal é teu.
O jornal é teu. The newspaper é teu is yours. Our turtle likes strawberries. Nossa tartaruga gosta de morangos. Okay. A tartaruga da gente, of the people, meaning of us. Now, nossa tartaruga gosta de morangos.
A menina veste a luva.
A luva wears, I think, the
Luva.
A menina, the girl. Veste wears looks like but it's the again. And luva is, I think, related with our word glove. Related to, rather. And we're doing Portugal. And I just want to talk about these article words. Portuguese. So, feminine, the. Femsing. Comes from Latin illum. Lost most of those sounds. And the the masculine form, both singular, comes from illum, which are both accusative forms in Latin, and most of the Romance languages, at least the Western ones, took just the accusative forms like we saw here in Spanish as just the single noun form that they used. Italian kept alive the old system of endings for subject and object. Nós falamos. So here's the Portuguese cousin of that. Habitamos, habitum, habemos, havem. So let's add it in this group. No, falamos. Falamos. Falar. The stem ends in a. Spelled with an O, but it's raised to an U. I don't know the source of it. I think it would be fabulare. Put a little question mark though. I don't know that this was used as a verb in Latin, but the form would have been amus, fabulamus. From the word fable, basically. Mus from mus. Nos falamos. Butter was manteiga. I think, something like that.
Elas falam com eles.
Elas.
Elas falam com eles.
Falam com eles. They, female, speak to they, non-female. Is carrot a vegetable? Carrot. Cenoura. Is it masculine? It says feminine. So, cenoura é vegetal.
As calças dela.
Calças. I think with that modified C. Della, belonging to her. Her shoes. I like the taste of the food. Eu gosto. Gosto. G. So of the. Well, we need the taste. Of the taste. Do gosto. Da comida, I'm gonna guess. Not too bad. Good enough to pass. Oh, let's review that, yeah. Okay, is carrot a vegetable? Cenoura é vegetal. Okay. Let's hold on to that. Is carrot a vegetable? The other one I got wrong. I like the taste of the food. Eu gosto do gosto da comida. It sounds a little inelegant to me, but what do I know? I'm not a speaker. Eu gosto. The verb and the noun happen to have the same form. Well, they're related words. But gosto, the I form, ending in O, and the masculine, it's a masculine noun, thematic, so it also ends in O. Da, of the, it's a fusion word. Actually, this one is two, do and da, coming from G and the article. Da comida. That's it. I like the taste of the food. I wonder if that sounds good to if you're a native speaker of Brazilian Portuguese. I would like to hear from you on this point. The taste of the food. Does this one sound good to you? Okay, with that, let's go back to Latin, I think. Not there. Oh, we're just in Portuguese. Just checking out Latin and then some of the daughter languages. Get a feel for them. 30. Triginta. No sound attached. Numni coins. Decem. 10.
Da mihi crustulum.
Command form of the verb. Give me a cookie. Mihi to me. Wiginti 20.
Viginti olivas velim.
Would you like 20 olives? Wiginti olivas velim. Coins nummi. Masculine plural.
Puella crustulum velit.
Willa, the girl. Subject. Crustulum velit. Would like a cookie. Or the cookie.
Livea quaeso da mihi vinum.
Please, Livia, give me da mihi wine. Bread costs 5 coins. Panis, quinque, 5. Uinque. Nummis, dative plural, I think. Constat, singular subject. Red wine, vinum. Num, rubrum. 30 coins. Triginta, these words don't inflect. Some numerals do, but not these. Triginti nummis constat. Cool. So I have we seen all of the Romance language? Well, I haven't started the Catalan course. Let's do that. Now is the time. Oops, don't want that. But I do want to see. Where do I switch? Okay, I'll say I speak Spanish. It's a bit of a stretch, but I get by. And I want to learn Catalan. Over 4 million native speakers, mostly in the Iberian Peninsula. Language of Catalonia, and communicate with locals as you explore its capital city, Barcelona. Be able to ask for directions to Gaudi's Sagrada Familia and cheer on the world's famous FC Barcelona team, or use your new language skills to order your favorite tapas. This historic language, whatever that means, once banned in some areas, now inspires deep pride in the rich culture associated with it. Can't wait. So it's taught through the medium of standard Spanish. International standard básico. Gracias. So this is a bit more challenging than. Oh yeah, we started a new cycle here. Yeah, that's what it was just telling me. Okay, getting on track here. ¿Cuál de estos es mujer?
Nen.
Nen.
Toma.
Hombre.
Toma. Donna.
Donna. Hombre. Just a second. Pardon me. Give me some Polish for just a moment.
Piję wodę.
Kobieta je chleb. Pije woda.
Kobieta je chleb i pije wodę.
Sounds like an E.
Kobieta je chleb i pije wodę.
Wodę. It's modified. Woman is eating bread and drinking water.
Mężczyzna.
Hombre.
Nen.
Nen.
Lena.
Nen.
Toma.
Hombre. Niño. Oh, nen, niño. These are cousin words here, cognates.
Donna.
Donna.
Toma.
Hombre.
Nen. Un nen.
Un nen. Recuerda que siempre puedes presionar las palabras para ver lo que significan. Remember that you can always presionar. Press, I guess. Hover over. Okay, un nen is un niño. Niña.
Donna.
Donna.
Lena.
Nena.
Toma. Lena.
Yo soy una mujer. Oh, what's yo? J-O. Sok. Cool. Una donna. Una donna. That one we learned. Yo sok. Okay. Soy un niño. Sok un nen. Sok un nen. So sok. How fascinating. What is this K? How did it get there? The Latin form corresponded to this. So Catalan. Sok I am. Somehow it relates to Latin sum. So how do you get from an M to a K sound? That's odd. So maybe some sort of particle or enclitic at the end. Sok Catalan. Stump. Sok. Said. Wow, this is okay. Still be used of metal. Okay. Oh wow, cool. Alright, not gonna get the answer so quickly. Up to the question I have there. Let's stay on this a moment. La manzana.
Nen. Nena. La poma. Una nena menja.
Una nena menja. La niña come. Menja, eats. I think that Romanian one, mănâncă, would be a cousin of this.
Ella menja una poma. Ella menja una poma.
Ella menja una poma. She eats an apple. Ella come una manzana.
Ets un nen.
Ets un nen. Eres?
Ets.
You are.
Ets un nen.
Age, that's fascinating. Ets un nen. Eres un niño.
Tu ets una dona.
Tu ets una donna. Eres una mujer. Tu eres una mujer, okay.
Tu ets un home.
Tu ets un home. Tu eres un hombre.
Ell és un nen.
Ell és un nen. Es un nen. Ella. That's that ille we saw. Es un nen. El, that's got to be accented. Sorry, let me add some English in here. Ella es un nen. He is a boy. Es un niño. Male child.
Tu ets una dona.
Tu ets una donna. Tu eres una mujer. Una, yeah, I forgot. El agua.
La llet.
La llet, milk.
El pa.
The bread.
L'aigua.
El pan.
El pa. La llet. L'aigua. El pa. Jo menjo pa.
Menjo pa. That's yo como pan. Yo como pan. Yeah. Mi respuesta debió ser aceptada. La leche, la llet.
El pa. L'aigua. La llet. Tu beus llet.
Tu beus llet. Tu bebes agua, leche. You drink water. Beus, that's so cool.
Tu beus llet.
Tu beus llet.
Ell beu llet.
Il beu llet. He drinks milk. Él bebe agua. Close.
Jo bec llet.
You bec. Ah, there it is again.
Jo bec llet.
You bec llet. Yo bebo leche. I drink milk.
Jo menjo pa.
Yo menjo pan. I eat bread. Yo como pan.
Ell beu llet.
Il beu llet. He drinks milk. Él con tilde. Bebe leche. Llet. El Estás en el nivel 1. Groovy. Kind of been wanting to do that for a while. Now, let's go over to more distant, well, let's see if there's any more Romance languages that there are courses for. I think we've done them all. Chinese, Irish, Japanese, yeah, and that's where we started. Let's do Irish, which is a more remote cousin of the languages descended from Latin, Romance. But you can still see, well, see if you see any parallels. What do we have in the verbs? The verb present one. He writes. So the form is from, they borrowed a lot of vocabulary from Latin here. Schreven, she, writes he.
Fekimud.
As we see. Shulam.
Skriven tú an biachlár.
Skriven tú an biachlár. Skriven tú an biachlár.
Skriven tú an biachlár.
Skriven tú an biachlár. You write an biachlár, the menu. What shulam? Shulaim.
Fekimud.
We swim. Snavamud. It's gotta be long. And the V spelled with MH can't be directly to an I there. That's gotta have, because the vowels rather on either side of the consonant need to match in their quality. That's my guess.
Snavamud agus ichimud.
Snavamud, we swim. Snava imid in the spelling. Agus and ichimud, we eat. All I. He writes. Skriven she. Skriven. Does it have an accent? Yes. Showing that it's a long vowel. Skriven she. He writes. Verb first in Irish. We see her clothes. Fekimud. Clothes is, it's got an EA in it. Addy. And to say that they're hers, wow. Just Haddy, or no, it's going to be a Haddy. Fekimud, we need to say. We see. Fused form. And then pathetic H. Haddy. Haddy. Long accented A and E there. Haddy. Fekimud a Haddy. Basic form of the noun doesn't have an H. It gets added as part of this possessive construction.
Fragrin she.
Fragrin, green. Listen to the different qualities of the R's here.
Fragrin she.
Fragrin she. And that's this R, the R is a slender one. And this R after G before an A is broad. Fragrin she. So it makes me think of the German fragen, and this means the opposite, answer. And the subject she, he answers. He sleeps. She is going to be the subject. Colleen she. Cod. Spelling cod. La E. Long. On she. Want to hear that again, this verb? Same one, he sleeps. I answer the woman. Dream. The woman. It's going to be accusative or dative. I'm just going to try on van. Don't know which mutated form to expect here. Fragraim should have a length mark on van.
Tom imachola.
Imachola. Imachola is sleeping, huh? Okay, mutated. Imo, because it's possessed here. Kola in the basic form. Imohola. And this phrase, in this construction, shift the value of that first consonant. Afraid of I am in my sleeping means I'm sleeping. Nothing to be saying. He runs and she runs, they run. Run is rishin. TH ha. Rishin she. Agus. Rishin. She. That's first sentence. Second is rishin. So the same verb form here. For most of them, 4 of the 6 forms. She it is they.
Rihin sé agus rihin sí. Rihin siad.
Same one. He runs and she runs and they run. Rishin she, rishin she it. He answers fragrian. Fragrian, what's the form? Rion. She, fragrian she, fragrian she.
Rihin sé agus rihin sí. Rihin siad.
Let's go like this. She, agus, rishin. She, he runs, she runs. Rishin, she it. We do need to practice the spelling of these Irish words. Rishin she. That's what we came here to do. Agus. Rishin. She. Rishin. She it. Okay. Better too tedious than too hard, I suppose. Let's dip back to Latin so it's a little easier for a second. Much longer familiarity with Latin. How are we doing in yeah, taking a lead here. Awesome. Travels. City is lovely. Consonant stem noun. Urbs.
Urbs.
S is the case marker.
Matrem et patrem visito.
Visito the verb. Last. I visit. Matrem et patrem. Mother and father.
Stephanus Marcum visitat.
Lovely case here.
Stepanus.
Nouns for these names belong to the same class. Us, the subject. Stephanus. Next, the verb visits. And Marcum is marked for object. We'll just put Marcus in English.
Urbes condo.
Accusative form here, looking the same as the nominative. Condo, I build. Urbes, cities. So let's look at that noun here. Go back to my Latin notes. Cancel that. Urbs. Here's the segmentation. That's the word for city. Let me put that at the head here. Both these forms will be urbs, and that's what we call nominative, so subject case, singular. And here we have urbes. So here's my segmentation. The vowel in this case belongs to the suffix. And that's, in this case, accusative plural. Nominative would be exactly the same too.
Tu familiares visitas.
To you, visitas, you visit. Familiares is the accusative also. Relatives.
Sepulchrum visitas.
Crum, singular, the grave. Visitas, you visit.
Marcus multas urbes condit.
Marcus, subject, builds, condit. Builds condos. Multas urbes, many cities. And this reminds us that urbs is a feminine noun. It's going to be true for all of its forms, so I'll just put it here. Urbs, multas urbes. And this stem, the a is also movable, and then the stem itself ends in a, and then s is the suffix. You could say multas. It's not quite as simple as that. It's a long a, so it's kind of an arbitrary segmentation.
Tu urbem condis.
Thou, you, build urbem, accusative singular. Segmentation is like this. You build the city. I visit mother and father. Matrem et patrem, both objects. Visito, I mean grammatical objects, of course, not object in the everyday sense. Marcus does not build a city. Marcus urbem does not build. Non condit. Condit. A consonant stem verb. Condere is the infinitive. So the verbal noun form, and up there, but condit, what I would segment like this, is the third singular form. He, she, it builds. This stem ends in a consonant, unlike the other verbs we saw. Habitare, habere. Stems had vowels at the end of them. So maybe a bit more Irish. So just gonna jump back and forth. Do whatever I want. I'm the boss around here.
Nihanim.
Let's go. Shine. Ni, henim, it's the I form. I do not shine. Ni should be long, marked long. Height, neem is the spelling. Henim is the sound.
Brishin she shockloids.
Brishin she chocolate. She breaks a chocolate. Something like that. My dog breaks the book. With the verb first, brishin. Then the subject, mowadra. Because of that mo showing my, we mutate an M. The book is the object. Anliauer comes last.
Brishin muwadra an ljower.
Sentence. Brishin. Okay, and it's the slender R, so it's trilled. Brishin mowadra an ljower. My dog breaks. The dog pays for the cat. What's this verb? Yikan. That comes first in the sentence. Anmatra for the cat. So a preposition, which one? Donchot. I think it's going to be, buddy. Speak of the devil.
Ikon an madra gun chut.
Sounds like a gunchot there.
Ikon an madra gun chut.
Chut, that's odd. Alright, interesting. Same sentence. The dog, an madra, Ikon pays for Dunchat. That for is with the dun there, and for the cat. You go. Cheantu. That nice Indo-European verb, steigkesi it would have been. Let's look at that. Well, the form, this form of course, is invariant. Irish. Toige. Chean. From the verb steig. In Indo-European. With or without S. From place to place. Steigkesi it would have been for this one. You go.
Teantu.
Cheantu. You go. I do not shine. Ni hanim. Fight. Neem. Balina, colony, and beer. Collect. The girls collect the food. He opens the menu. Osclean Shay. Osclaien. Spelling? Clai. Osclean Shay. And Biachlar. Biachlar.
Osclínse an bíochlár.
Osclean Shay and Biachlar. He opens the menu. I play and I drink. Imreen. I guess it would have to be slender. Agus. Olam. Olai. Usajin Shay. He uses whatever that means. She plays with him. So Imreen. I think spelled like that. She with him is Lesh, I believe. Imreen, mark long, she Lesh. Imreen, she Lesh.
Úsáideann sí an leabhar.
Usajin she and Liaur. She uses a Liaur the book. Girls collect the food. I forgot already. Collect by Leon. Valiant. And that's the verb. I'll say X collects Y. X for the subject, Y object. Valiant Nakalini. Anbia or Anvia? I think it's Anbia. Oops, missed an article there. Balin, Nakalini, Anbia.
Imrinn sí leis.
Imri. And she plays with him. Imrin she lesh. He uses Usajan. Sa-ijin she. Don't know what this sentence would mean. Usa. Those first two vowels are accented long. Okay. The girls collect the food. Collect. Alien. So plural are the Nakalini. The food and beer. Cool. Thank you all for joining. We got some comments. Hope so. Hi, Lango. Yes, hello to you, Big Magikarp. Gute Nacht. Yeah. Loving the Irish. Can't get enough of it. And I'm trying to do them all. I think let's go back to Catalan. Just starting out on a language of Iberian Peninsula. Just go straight to the bottom there. Stay on Básico a bit. So it's, I guess we could call it, it's a language of Spain, and it's taught through the medium of Spanish. So for a few minutes you won't see any English. I'll just do one little stretch here, so don't run away. It seems unfamiliar and disorienting. Yo soy un hombre, I am a man. Yo soc un home.
Soc una nena.
Soc una nena. Soy una niña means I am a girl. Soy una mujer. Soc una mujer was donna.
Una dona.
Una donna, una mujer. soy un niño. Soc un nen. Soc un... Almost the only possible one because the others are feminine. And un there tells us we need a masculine now. Yo soy un niño. Yo soc un nen. Okay, let's go back to Irish, I guess. Yep, learning to read the spelling. Very, very fascinating stuff. Are you trying to learn Irish orthography? I'll try to comment on that a bit if that's of interest. Keep that closer to my line of sight here. He hears boys. Aishtchen is the verb. Clushen, rather. Clush. Okay, so about the spelling. Pay attention to those vowels I and E. They will show up together, like here, around on either side of the S, and that tells us that the sound is a sh. Not klossen, but kloshen. Same thing, the letter E sounded A. Palatalizes, we say it shifts the S to a sh. Buchali. And here, note that the I's are there together on either side of the double L. So you'll either have I or IE together around a consonant or sequence of them, or not. But there's no crossing over. It's very consistent in that. Clushen buchali, he hears boys.
Ismalim on scale.
Ismalim and scale. So the TH always sounds as a H, palatalized here. Ma, liam. The L is slender, the rest of the word is not. And scale. So that letter E makes it a shkya and not a ska sound. Ismalim means it is good with me. I like and scale the story. So in order to match the spelling and the sound, you have to know a bit about... Right, yeah, it's interesting stuff. So let's review together here.
Ismalim on scale.
You might expect the S here to become a sh, but this one does not. It's a special case. This verb is. It is good with me, and that's the permanent B rather than the temporary one. The woman says it, and the man hears it. Two complete clauses on their own. Says it. I can't think of says. Jair. That's the verb is going to be first. Jair. And van. It is a. Agus, and the man hears it. It's going to be a clushen. Not to listen, but to hear. So I and E on either side of S, clushen. On fair, the man, and then it again, a. Yes, that's nice.
Eishtim leis scale.
I listen with the story, literally. Eishtim leis scale. I listen to the story. For good English. You hear the dog. Here again, clushen. C-L-O. So that part's not slender. Ish is slender, and the rest, again, not. It's broad. To you, the dog, and madra. All broad there.
Der siad agus eishtim.
Der siad agus eishtim. Der siad. Verb first, it's they say. Oh, jair like dicere in Latin. Jair. Be an odd thing to borrow, I think. Looked this up before. Yeah, it just happens to look like that. They say, speak, I guess. They say, it's a bit odd without a thing said. Agus and eishtim, a fused form, I listen. They say, eish, jair, shiat, agus, eishtim. And slender, this last verb, I listen, it's all slender, eishtim, because the only vowel letters there are E and I, eishtim.
Der siad agus eishtim.
Shiat, same thing, agus, eishtim. The first verb there too, is all slender. I listen to the story. Eishchim. With the story, literally. Lesh and scale. Should be length marked. Okay. He hears boys. The verb, klushen. Shay. Uachali. Uachal would be the singular. Just add E there for plural. Broad, velarized. Yep, slender palatalized. Exactly. So that's for layman, I think. Velarized, the broad one, the tongue body is in a pulled back position, and slenderized, it's more in a forward looking position. Palatal, so English sh is our version of a palatal. It's close to that Irish. But they're really just different shades of the same basic consonant. So each consonant shows up in these two variant forms, slender and broad, are the traditional names for them. They just correspond to different tongue positions, I think.
Dinam on Bela.
Genum and Bela. Genum, make. Genum, I make. And Bela is the meal. We tell and they listen. Tell inshin. Inshimid. So all slender here, because the only vowel letter is I. And they listen, agus. Listen, eishtchen. Shiad, they. And that first vowel could be accented.
Faim on van, agus na fir.
Faim and van, agus na fir.
Faim on van, agus na fir.
I get. I don't know what this means, but it's I get, and van, the woman, agus na fir, and the men. That sentence to me. I get the women and the men. Faim. Fa, so slender, y. The woman, singular, and van, mutated. And agus, na fir.
Inshimid, agus eishtin siad.
Good to hear this one.
Inshimid, agus eishtin siad.
Shimij, agus eishtin siad. We tell, fused form, agus eishtin siad, and they listen. They make the food. Siad and bia will be there for sure, and make janan, janan, d long e, and then okay, don't do that. Janan siad and bia.
Dylan siad on bia.
Jinan siad on bia. They make the food. We work. It's Laurian. Ibri, yeah. Ibri, slender there. Midge, and at the end.
Ibri mead.
I, but written OI. Bri, long. Midge. We tell and they listen. Tell was inshimage. The we form, fused. And they listen. Agus, eishchen, it's accented properly. Shinshiach. Let's go ahead and finish this one up. I give everything to you. Give, but everything gachrud. And then to you, maybe with you, liat or chogat. Glutch. Togum gachrud. I don't know how this would sound. Togum, I think it's this one. In the greeting hello, Gioloch. But I don't know if it probably wouldn't be united the same way there.
Tugamide.
Tugamide. That's we give it. Yeah, Tugam. Tug sounds like took, but it means give. We give it, we'll say, for the object. He takes food. Togen. That was confusing. Togen Shay. And Bia.
Tógann an bia.
Doesn't sound like a voiced palatal. No, not voiced. Still voiceless. Talking about the sh in clushion. Still voiceless. The voicing doesn't change for that particular adjustment. Just it's the tongue position, so not a sub, it's sh. Both voiceless fricatives, that's right. As in shay. Togen shay and bia. He takes the food. So voiced fricatives, I don't think Irish really has. No, you have the v spelled bh or mh. That's a voiced fricative, but it doesn't have z, and it has r. Right, those are voiced fricatives, spelled either dh or gh. He comes and she comes. They come. Tagen. No memory of that one. Tagen come. So intransitive, just X comes to a place. Tagen she, Agus tagen she. In other languages that have actual inflection here, this exercise makes more sense. In Irish, it's a bit tedious. Tagen she it.
Tógann an bia.
Oh, Togen she and bia. He takes the food. We give it. So tugamid. Right? A. We give it long A there. So the U and A together shows a broad G. Oh, slender DH doesn't really. That's what you said. I'm sorry, I misread you there. Doesn't really sound like a voiced palatal fricative. Slender DH. What words do we have it in? I'll keep an eye out for that.
Gachrod.
Gachrod. Everything. I give everything to you. I give Togum. Gachrod. He comes. Tagen she. Agus. Tagen she. Tagen she it. Whoa. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.